Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Comedy and Magic Podcast. I'm your host, John Marshall.
Yes.
If you're new to the channel, please remember to like and subscribe. Go ahead and smack that bell to be notified of future upcoming episodes. Before I introduce today's magical guest, I would like to share with you just a few highlights from Danny's act. Here we go.
Big crayon at the coloring book. Okay? All right, so there you go. Wave that at the coloring book. All right, I guess he's gonna wave 5 back. One. I'm not peeking. Peek on. Wait a minute. Chico, stop peeking. Go peeking. All right, here we go. On the count of 3. 1, 2, Chico. No more peeking. And there's time. You know, when I was a kid, I thought I had all the time in the world. And then I got older, and I realized that time is precious. Once it's spent, it's gone. That's why it's important that we let go of the things that don't matter to us in life and cling to the things that do. Because life is short. And if we focus on what's important to us in life, that to me is real magic. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Joining me in the virtual studio, coming from his home in Lumsden, Saskatchewan, the one and only Danny Kazam. How are you, Danny?
Hey, I'm doing great. How you doing, Johnny?
Fantastic. So, Danny, how did you get started in magic, my friend? What was your big in?
Well, not to disappoint anybody, but I didn't start off as a kid and learning magic that way. I never even had any plans of even being a magician. But I always wanted to be an entertainer. So in a nutshell, my life has been a complicated life. I've been fighting adversity throughout my life and overcoming a lot of obstacles to just even get to where I am today. But got to a point in my life where I was more stable. So I was able to focus more on things that I wanted to do. And of course, the biggest thing was to be an entertainer. And just before all that had happened, I started learning magic. And I was at the time working in Calgary, Alberta. Oops, sorry, I have an earthquake here. I think it was California.
Whoa.
And so when I started learning magic, I was working at the Mustard Seed, the Calgary Mustard Seed, which is a Christian ministry, and started using the magic to show the street people and the people that are on the streets, and I would show them tricks, and then we'd start talking about God, and then that kind of evolved into me doing gospel magic. So before there was Danny Kazam, there was Gospel Dan, and did enough gospel magic shows where I didn't feel comfortable with it anymore, and not from a Christian perspective. It was more just because I felt like I was kind of preaching to the choir.
Yes.
And it was tricks or it was routines and stories that the kids already knew, and so I felt like I was kind of cheapening it. Not, and I don't say that about anybody else who does it. This is more about my personal thing on it, but
Right.
and I took it more serious. I wasn't having really a lot of fun as that I knew I could have been. It wasn't about me having fun at the time. It was about thinking that I was, instilling in these children gospel messages and using the entertainment to help illustrate it and all that giddy stuff. But I found because they already knew the stories of Noah's Ark and the crucifixion and stuff, I see that they were really hungering for the entertainment part of it. And that's when I realized that I could use the magic and uh, be able to go out there and start entertaining people, which was what I've always wanted to do throughout my life. So that's how Danny Kazam came around. And when I decided that I was going to do this, because there was two things that went through my mind in a nutshell here. One was, if I could live the rest of my life knowing that, okay, you know what, I'll put my dreams aside of wanting to be a performer and entertainer, but that if I could live with that without any regret, then okay, then we can do that. But I couldn't say to myself that I was, going to be able to not have regrets. What if, at least if I tried or whatever, all these questions. So I knew then that I had to do this, and I had to not just do it, but do it with everything I had. Like, most of my life, I mean, I really never focused on anything long enough to achieve any kind of long lasting goals. So other than surviving from living on the streets and stuff. But so this was a big thing for me. I was really testing myself and seeing what I was capable of. It was either do or die. But I knew for myself that it was about the journey. So if I did this and nothing happened, and that was it, at least I could live with that, knowing that at least I tried. I gave everything I got. Yeah. So, and that was it. I was focused on it. I was driven. Here in Saskatchewan, when I moved here to Saskatchewan, started contacting other magicians that were, performing locally and stuff. And nobody was, doing anything. There was no any clubs or anything like that. And so I called everybody up. Hey, let's start meeting. Nobody wanted to do anything formal. So put together the Facebook page and had people join up there and started the Saskatchewan Magicians. And we would meet once in a while and start discussing things about magic and stuff like that. But things just happened really quick for me. A lot about timing. Like, I mean, it was the right place, the right time. I was in the right province, just because even though there was other people that were doing children's magic, they were mostly trying to do adult magic. And that's where their real focus was. And I don't think, a lot of them, there's a few that I know, and we still talk and we hang out, but I don't think they were driven. They weren't heavily motivated to do what they were doing. So when the pandemic hit, that was it. They were no longer around. They're still around, but they're just not performing like before. And so there wasn't really a market for, someone who was a children's entertainer. And
well, a lot of magicians started doing Zoom shows during the pandemic. I wasn't one of them, of course, but did you do any of those?
I did. Yeah. And I didn't like them. Just
what? It
wasn't the same thing.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, I knew you were going to say that, because it's all about the interaction.
Yeah. And you can have interaction, but it's not the same. It's
right. And it feels different. It's like two-dimensional. And magic's no fun in 2D. I mean, it's great, but so much more fun. I was on YouTube the other night and I was watching a routine, or no, I think it was on Facebook. I saw your reel, and you did the gypsy thread.
With
the balloon.
Yeah.
And I've seen the trick a million times, but it was your story that really touched me. And I thought that was very well done. The message that you're coming across there is just even more necessary today, in today's times. And, I think the world needs some magic again, brother.
Yeah, some real honest magic, Yeah, there was a lady that I'd been filming that show as well, but there was a lady that had filmed that, and her testimony or review, I guess, about it. I mean, she said that she was in tears, and that filming of it was the first time I performed it, and I didn't want to do it until I had something that was original. And I just thought, I know I do kids magic. There's always a lot of adults there too as well, and it nearly got me a standing ovation. It didn't get me one. I don't think I've ever. Well, I almost had another one too, but kids don't stand up and give you a standing ovation. So,
man, but it really was about the presentation and your routine, because it was filmed from such a great distance. And you know, I mean, and you know, the ambiance going on around you, you could barely hear where, you know, what you were saying. But I was following along, and such a beautiful performance, man. That was very
Wow.
touching.
Thank you.
I love magic with a good message. That's why I've always loved Doug Henning, my mentor, Jeff McBride, and Eugene Berger, the late Eugene Berger. So many greats out there that have influenced me over the years.
Yeah.
Who really inspired you?
Mr. Dress Up and Sherry Lewis.
Oh, I saw Sherry once at the state fair, man. That was a
a
great show.
man. I never got to see her live, but yeah.
And I saw her daughter Mallory
Oh wow,
doing with Lamb Chop at the Magic Castle twice. And you know, she's quite gifted herself.
Wow. Yeah. That's how I kind of got first exposed to magic too, was from the Sherry Lewis show. So excuse me. But yeah, those have been my heavy influences just from but yeah, you know, with Mr. Dress Up and the puppets, and that was kind of the interesting thing about me becoming a children's entertainer was I was in my early 40s. So I had to kind of look back at anything that I had as far as skills that I've learned. And because I didn't have the advantage of a guy spending 20 years of his early life learning all these different sleights and stuff like that. But I did have theater experience, and I did work with children as a child development worker, and worked in camps and stuff. So I always had a good relationship with the youth. And it just seemed like this was where I needed to be. This was where I felt I was going to be able to be most comfortable to start off with, and use those things, which a lot of people the younger days don't have that kind of experience. So that became my advantage, and my knowledge of business as well too, which not too many people know. You know, when they want to start out and have a career in magic, they forget about, you know,
marketing,
not just, and the whole thing,
branding. Yep.
Yeah. And they just think it's all going to happen. They sit around, they wait for the phone to ring, but you know,
I did my share of that. And of course, the agency that I last had representing me, I kind of gave up on. That was Philip and Henry's.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they ever really had a map, because they would always call me up. I've got something in your neck of the woods, and I would be like, no, actually that's 150 miles away. Hello.
Yeah.
And they want to nickel and dime you. And it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And after a while you get a bad review with them, because they're like, oh, you know, you never take any jobs.
Yeah, I've had them a couple of times call me and contact me, and I just give them my quote, and then I never hear from them again. I haven't heard from them now in a couple of years, because I wrote back and I said, there's no point in keep sending me this. You guys hire new people every day. You get the message.
Yeah, they come and go like running water, man.
Yeah.
Thanks to YouTube, you know, anybody can be a magician. Sorry, guys.
Well, you know, here
you can mimic it.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's an issue too. And I never thought I would see myself ever one day in a place where I am right now, where I feel very protective over what I do. And because it's not just something I love to do, but for me to continue to do what I love to do, I have to make enough money to be able to do it. I can't, you know, unfortunately, my wife works as well too, but we wouldn't be able to survive if we were just going to live on her income. So I have to go out and make this happen. And so for the last 12, 13 years, I have been able to do it, but I've been busting my butt doing it. And I've been paving paths that never existed there before, with the Saskatchewan libraries, for example, and working with over 100 different libraries and talking with them and emailing them, and even helping them find fundings, because a lot of them live so far out. And, you know, if I went to do a library on the other side of the province, just the traveling, you know, the traveling fee and the gas fee is pretty high in itself. So by doing this, and then by arranging these tours where I can go out and do 2-3 libraries in a day, and and then get a hotel, and it's worthwhile to everybody. So nobody's gone out and created any of that. They just kind of weekenders, I guess, sort of, they were happy and content where they were. And so when I came in, I made some enemies. It was almost like, and I don't know why, I can make an assumptions and stuff like that, but I had people that, didn't think that I deserved it or whatever. And other people that want to lie and over exaggerate. That's the best way. That's the nice way of me putting it, is over exaggerate who they are, and do really unethical things like going out and buying Google reviews, and the reason why they do it is because they know that they're not good enough, and they feel that they're not good enough, and they feel that the only way to that they're going to get any bookings is if they lie about themselves, and they make up all this stuff. And but what they don't understand is that once you get up there and people start seeing you, they're going to expect that you have 20 years experience traveling all across Canada and the US and becoming Canada's top illusionist, whatever. You're making some pretty outlandish claims, right? But you got to live up to it. Yeah. And a lot of times it's better to make them think that you're not as good, so that if you are good and they see you, then they're getting more than what they expected. And that's where that extra, like, wow, he came out and delivered, and plus
the wow factor. Yes.
Yeah.
So do you prefer doing the senior shows, or do you still enjoy doing the kids shows?
I love doing the kids shows. I get so much out of it. And the seniors are fine too. The ones that I work with, some of them are more serious in dementia and stuff like that. But yeah, I was wondering, even when I was first going to do it, what kind of tricks to do. And somebody said to me, well, you work with them enough that, you should probably know, of course. But I was like, yeah, but kids tricks, is that going to insult them? And it doesn't. They just love it, especially when it's colorful stuff. And yeah,
silks and stuff. Oh, they just love that stuff. Confetti. Yeah. And you make a damn awful mess, but boy, everybody loves it.
Yeah.
So technically, what would you say your title is? Are you a comedy magician? What is your billing?
I just call myself a children's entertainer, and then everybody else will comment that, you're more than a children's, that you're a family's entertainer, because you even make the adults laugh and stuff. But yeah, I do the puppets. Yeah, I do puppets and ventriloquism. But I never wanted to sort of label myself as a children's magician, because I never wanted to be limited to just doing magic in my shows. So, and I don't want anybody to expect that's all they're going to get is magic during my show. So,
oh, so you're a ventriloquist. I didn't know you met you like wow, that's pretty impressive. I mean, my grandparents bought me my first Charlie McCarthy and Mortimer Snerd doll back in the 70s, and oh my gosh, but that was kind of a phase I went through, and then I kept going back and forth through magic, and it was like I was at home with magic. But I think once you have a really good puppet that your personality definitely clings to, that makes a big difference, because that's a personality that you can interact with. And so tell us a little bit about Danny the ventriloquist.
Started off with when I was doing gospel magic. Actually, I had I still have him. It's Buddy. I think you can probably see his toes up there somewhere, right in there. But let's see if I can.
Buddy!
Oh, there he is, redheaded. Oh, wrong way. He's kind of sitting up there. And I haven't had him in a show for a while, but I played with him because with the puppeteering as a kid, I love playing with puppets, and that's the cool thing about being a children's entertainer, is that I get to do all the things that I did as a kid and do it all over again, and have even more fun with it. So, but I mean, yeah. started off with Buddy, and I do one of the Axtell's Big Bears. I do him as well, and we have a little message that we do with the kids during the library shows. And I got my tickle trunk kind of there. I got to work on it though. Finally got my little tickle trunk with all my costumes in there and things that I love playing with down here.
Sounds like you have quite an elaborate imagination, and that's awesome to hear, man. That's a gift.
Yeah, I'm a kid. I'm a kid that's an adult, so I get to.
Oh, I would love to perform at the Magic Castle at least once in my life. That's a bucket list thing.
Yeah.
Gosh, I guess the Magic Castle is really my only big bucket list.
Yeah.
How about you?
Mine are really simple. I want to perform at two of the schools in Calgary that I went to when I was a kid. One of the schools I went to when I lived in Montreal. And I want to perform for the Calgary Stampede and the Queen exhibition here in Regina. That's as big as my dreams get, because everything else I'm already living it. Every day I go out and I get to perform, and it doesn't matter if I'm doing festivals, library shows, or any of those events. I'm just glad I'm doing it, and I have to kind of now, like, talking about earlier about being defensive about and protective over what I've accomplished here in the last 12 years. And because I don't go and call the media and get myself on television stuff. And I'm so focused on just enjoying what I'm doing, because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Like the thing I say, time is short. And so we have to focus on what really matters to us. And of course, my kids really matter to me. My wife matters to me. When I started off, we would travel together. In my head, I'm thinking, my kids are going to love me. They're going to think I'm great. I'm traveling all over the province. They get to see all these people. As a kid, I would have loved something like that. So they got a taste of that. And they didn't know the difference between the knots and what they had. So they enjoyed it for a while, but now they're just like, no, they got their own thing. And that's, I always kind of thought that they would be part of the show and travel with me that way. But,
can't all be Andre Cole and his medicine show, man.
They got bigger things and bigger dreams to aspire to, I suppose. So.
And it's not tagging along with Dad the Magician.
Yeah.
Do any cruise ships, anything like that?
No cruise ships. I've had entertainment something. They're like some kind of I don't know what they are, but I got hooked up with them. I thought they were like just more like a directory, but they do send me a few things. But it's they want like the one time it was had to go and fill out this one form and then fill out some other form with sending in a video and reference things, like some kind of a promo package thing. And I thought, well, it's pretty tough to get on a cruise, and I don't know if I'd want to be on a boat that long. So
yeah, actually, Craig Diamond talked about that, and he said it is really, really difficult. I mean, they're looking for new faces, but you have to be really good.
Yeah.
And in order to keep it. But man, that would be a dream come true to have that as an option as well.
I just think about how that would be nice just to travel around and internationally, I suppose. But I don't know how much difference that would be. Like that would be the good part about it, is that I would be kind of on a ship, on a cruise, but the performing part is no difference for me if I'm performing on a cruise ship or at a birthday party, a library, or a big festival event. So the bigger the crowd, the better. Actually, I feel more comfortable.
I feel the same way. At least I did anyway. Last show was about 3.5 years ago at my church. I'm a worship leader.
Oh, right on.
I started doing, bringing my magic into the harvest festivals and stuff that we were doing once a year, every October. And I, in the Bible, of course, they speak very loathly of the Magi, and of course, we're not magi, we're magicians. There's a difference between sleight of hand and being an evil wizard, you know. I mean, I thank you for giving me all that credit, and I feel very, very, honored that you think that much of me. But I started to feel this uncomfortableness of doing the shows because, like you said, you got to change the themings. You almost have to convince the audience that, well, this is all fake, so enjoy the show. You take away the wonder before it even starts. It's like, come on.
Showing people how the movie was made before they get to watch the movie.
Here's the behind the scenes, and now let's watch it. And magic really is just something that it's an art form. It really is. There's so much to it. You are the director, the producer, the choreographer, the sound guy. You wear a lot of hats, and being a ventriloquist, you add even more to that. Do you juggle as well?
I do a little bit. Actually, the funny thing, I didn't even know how to juggle. And when I was a scout leader for a while, and one of the scout leaders had asked if I knew how to juggle. And I was like, no, why? He's like, oh, I thought maybe you'd be able to teach the kids how to juggle. And I said, give me 2 weeks.
How did that go?
Well, I got my juggle ball somewhere, but yeah, I can juggle. Like, I mean, I can just do the 3 balls.
This is embarrassing, but here's mine.
I start doing the one hand thing now. And I'm like, okay.
What?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to.
No, they're not close by. Okay.
I've got my scarves, my juggling scarves. I've got my
Those
balls.
are the ones I have. That's it. Yeah.
And I just enjoy it. It's just something that relaxes me and keeps my eye. And
yeah, I'm not that good yet. I'm not at the point where I feel comfortable that I can go out and do it, because I still drop them. So once I kind of get going, and then, I'm still,
I have the clubs too, but boy, that scares the life out of me.
Yeah. Well, see, it's a nasty skill in the sense of, like, it's just involving so much. Like, there's your hands, so then you got to know everything, your eyes, because there's just so much going on, and
your hands have got to be right on it too. And, I mean, it really does help to build, just like your TV screen when you're juggling. You keep it in your thing. Of course, after a while, you're like, you get fancy and get the one to jump over there while the other one jumps over there. And
yeah,
I've had some fun with it. And I like to put on some music and just start juggling away. And
well, definitely have a newfound respect for jugglers once I started learning how to juggle, because
it's a lot of picking up.
Yeah. And I'm too old at this point to even think about, like, doing things like clubs and knives and all that other stuff. It's 3 balls every once in a while, and then whoop, that's it. Thank you.
I'm done.
I'm just glad I was able to do that. That was enough for me.
Have you attended any magic conventions and met any big names? Or
I haven't gone out to go to any magic conventions. We had a thing here a few years ago, and it went for 2 years. It was called Regina Cadabra, and we brought in Chris Funk. We had Eric Leclerc in as well, and 2 Canadian boys, but Eric Leclerc and Chris Funk's doing the World's Greatest Magic or something.
Nice.
Eric Leclerc, he's been doing television stuff, and so I was involved in that, and even actually one night I was the feature, and then the other night I opened up for Eric Leclerc. So, and that was fun.
So, man, how many years altogether have you been doing this, my friend?
14 years.
Only 14 years. You must be very young. Or you got a late start, one or the other. Yeah. Uh-oh.
No, I'm 53. So yeah, I still feel young. I don't know what old is. And I think by the time I get old, I'll still think I'm young.
I'm just mature now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm aging.
Aging like a fine wine. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Got the Sean Connery thing. Yes, Miss Moneypenny.
That's it. That's good. That was good.
Thank you. Sean Connery. Danny, when I look at you, I have so many questions, but yet I think you're a fine young man of your age, and I think you're doing a great job. And obviously, you're making a living at it, and I think that that is splendid. So, Danny, for any of the kids or adults thinking about getting into magic, what advice would you give for them?
Number one is remember whatever you start doing now is going to be a reflection of you in the future. So your branding, your marketing, your image, if you're going to try to take shortcuts and you're going to try to cheat or do unethical things to start off at the gate, you're not going to get anywhere. You might get a lot of fuel in the beginning, but people are going to catch on. People are going to see. So the best advice is to go out there, be honest about what you're doing. Don't be afraid to admit that you're just learning, and don't show what you've got until it's good enough to be shown. A lot of people are so eager to show people things, and they think they're going to stick around while they're learning something. Here, look at me learning this, look at me. And we were talking about, earlier about the whole behind the scenes.
Right.
So, and a lot of people are just jump happy that way. They want, well, I guess it's probably like that with life in a lot of many things, right? You learn a skill, the next thing you know, you're boom out that gate, and and you don't realize that there's things that you have to be focused on, and you got to slow down and do it things right. So when you go out there and you do things right, and you do it right in the sense of ethically and morally, and you do good to people, and you treat people nice, and you treat people with kindness, and you help people out, that's where you find that you're gonna reach the goals that you want to reach, because we can't do it on our own.
Amen.
So that's a
Wow.
long-winded thing, but
such great advice, man. It's and don't try to do things that's outside of your technical zone. Try to stay
Yeah.
in your own
what
zone.
you know best,
Right.
and
Take it as baby steps, and
don't try to be everything to everyone all at the same time. Pick one thing, focus on it. I mean, Ford didn't make all their money by going out the gate and building every different car they can think of. They worked on one, they mastered it, and then they were able to sort of focus on other cars or whatever. But same with magic or anything. Get that one thing down, learn it really well, because if you go out there, you're going to get a lot of people. They're going to tell you, hey, yeah, great job. Your family and your friends, they'll never be honest with you. They're always going to tell you how great you are. And then when people are watching you, most times they won't even tell you if they think you stink. Right. So you have to be really self-aware of that. And you have to make sure that if you want to go out and be a professional, you have to look like one. And that means you have to do what's required to do before going out there. All right. Do you want to talk some more? Do you want to see me drink a bottle of red hot pepper sauce?
Yummy.
All right. Here we go.
Ooh, that looks spicy.
Be good to yourself. Make it red hot pepper sauce. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a big gig, really, really quick. I share that in my show. I do it. I come out and say, you want to see a magic trick? They're like, yeah. Or you want to see me drink red hot pepper sauce? They're like, yeah,
that one.
The trick it is. And I do that a couple of times during the show. And I said, I thank you guys so much not wanting me to drink this red hot pepper sauce. And they'd be like, yeah, drink the pepper sauce. And I said, no. I'm thankful that you didn't want me to drink it. No, drink. And every time on cue, they just start going, drink that sauce. Drink that sauce, and I get them going, and then finally do that, and then the smoke comes out, and yeah,
love it. That's a great visual. Too bad you don't have some flames to go with that too, but keep it safe, man. Keep it safe.
You bet.
So what a delight it was to have you on the show, coming all the way from Canada. I do appreciate you doing this, and I would definitely love to have you back on and keep up to date with your progress, and the things that you're doing and up to, because we like to consider you as family and consider all of our magicians and ventriloquists and comedians to be a part of the family. And if we can help promote you in any way, this is what we're here for and what we want to do, and preserve the history, of course, of your life and of magic, other magicians' lives. And that's just the goal of what I do and why I do what I do. Yeah.
Well, and thank you for allowing me to have this venue to express myself and be asked questions and stuff. I think you're doing a great job. And
appreciate that.
I like I said, I'm now a listener there. So, and I'll be doing more listening in that. So you keep up the great work, and what you're doing is awesome, because people like me, we don't get a voice. It's always the same people when you listen to these podcasts. And I'm not knocking David Williamson or any of these people. I'm using him as an example. It's like, how many times do I need to know the same story? You have 12, 15 different podcasts, and they all have the same guests on there and stuff. And I really appreciated that you wanted me to come on your show and be able to talk, because I love it. Anytime I get a chance to, I'm more than willing to.
Fantastic.
So
well, I'm going to hold you
work.
to that. Oh,
Yeah,
thank you. And I will. But yeah, I'm going to hold you to that, man.
All right.
Danny, just thank you so much, brother.
Hey,
you stay safe and break a wand.
You bet. All right. You take care. God bless.
God bless you, brother. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have for today's show. I hope you enjoyed today's magical guest, the one and only Danny Kazam. Definitely an honor and a pleasure meeting him. One thing is for sure, I do enjoy meeting and talking to magicians all over the world and discussing what I love and have always loved since childhood, and that is the art of magic. Well, folks, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm Sean Marshall. Till the very next time that we meet, God bless you.
Oh!
Attaboy, Wilbur!
Oh! Now, put down that shovel and get a pick. Oh!